13th. We will stand for the information and
Lord, we pray that you will give our council members the faith and courage to carry on their duties, help them to do right, to deal fairly with others, and to place their trust in you. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Here. Here.
McBain?
Here.
Liston?
Here.
Bob? Here. Noah?
Here.
Blakeman? Willard?
Here.
Hudson?
Here. You should have all received the minutes for the meeting of July 16th. Are there any comments or corrections on those minutes? Hearing none, I'll stand as presented. There's no communications tonight. You received reports of the Planning Commission special meeting of July 16th and the Planning Commission meeting of August 13th. Are there any questions or comments on those minutes? Then moving on to the recognition of persons wishing to appear. April Brinker, Columbiana Chamber of Commerce, to address DORA enactment procedures.
Well, again, thank you. I was here a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, reporting on the success of the block parties this year paired with the DORA event. And one of the things we always try to do on our Columbiana First Committee is kind of an after-action review. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What can we do differently? So listening to some of our committee members who are made up of our Main Street merchants, these are some of the things that we uncovered. And this is a proposal that we're just simply a rudimentary proposal asking you to consider some sort of a procedures request for when someone calls and asks for a DORA to be enacted. So again, how we would envision it if a call were to come into City Hall requesting to be put on the agenda, they would be provided with this procedures list. Number one, we simply would ask you to entertain the idea of having them obtain permission and signature from an event organizer or organization with whom the DORA may coincide. That way everyone is on the same page and one doesn't know what the other is doing. That could be that. We didn't run into that. We were fortunate with that, but that is one of the things that we thought may need to be considered. The second, number two, obtain signatures from all 5 DORA permit holders. There are only 5 that hold those permits. We feel it would be very simple to go to them, let them know that they are requesting it to be enacted. This is the date that we're requesting, and then also let them know that they'll be attending City Council for that permission. That's allowing that permit holder, if they have any concerns, to be able to be here and voice that to you as well. And again, with number 3, kind of the same thing, to notify all businesses and organizations within the DORA perimeter at least 1 week prior to the City Council meeting that the requester is appearing before, to let those businesses and organizations know of the date and time the DORA is being requested, the date they're attending City Council for the request, and also if any street closure will be taking place with their request. So those are just 3 things that we uncovered through our after action review and simply wanted to bring to you and ask you to kindly look into or consider this as a guideline for procedures for the DORA.
April, I have a question. Sure. So with number 3, notifying all the businesses along there, when you say that, you're talking about even like the, so from the gift shop to an insurance agent?
Yeah, everybody, so AAA, Holloway, everyone that would fall within that door perimeter, because depending on, if it's a Friday, that business could be open till 5. If the street's gonna be closed, it could impact them as well.
And so if those business owners come in at that city council meeting and say, there's 5 or 6 of them say, this is announcing we just don't want this, how is, on your end, that going to be taken care of?
On our end, we have nothing really to do with it. It simply comes to you. I think it's important, regardless of whether they're for or against it, that their opinion be heard. Make move forward and still enact it, knowing their feelings, and hopefully just be able to find a way to work with whatever that issue is that they have with it, be it parking or be it, we've changed where we close the road down at certain times, because when we first started it, businesses had concerns about the road being closed, further south on the town, so we moved it up. Then as things picked up and it really grew, they wanted in that street closure too. So I think really, we don't as a committee foresee an issue with like the businesses, that maybe not the retail, but the insurance agents, those things, but more just a way to notify them.
It seems to me that any time there's a street closure for an event, whether a door is involved or not, those businesses involved should still be notified as well.
Yes.
It just makes sense that the street's going to be closed for some sort of event.
Parade.
Yeah, anything, yeah. I don't know about parades. Parades generally are pretty short, although some of them are pretty long.
Christmas parade's getting longer.
I know. Mark, do you see any issues? I mean, we set up the door procedures, and this would be something that would be added to that. Is that something that could potentially cause us a problem?
I don't think it could cause us problems. I think we've reserved the right to, amend the DORA to discontinue it. So I think adding more criteria, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think we have the right to do it. I think we'll probably need to vote on it. We may need to actually put it through as a resolution.
Yeah. I don't know that has to be something that amends the actual DORA documents. It could just be something that is a procedural.
Correct.
That's done by the city.
Correct, without sending it back to the state.
Right.
I would agree.
Okay. I think we probably ought to take a little bit of time to think about this and maybe put it on our next agenda.
First of all, this is a chamber discussion.
It is,
This
yes.
came through the chamber.
This came through our Columbiana First committee when we sat down and reviewed the season. And then at our board of directors meeting this month, we discussed it, and the board voted to bring this to council.
And I think that's important for us to know that it has the support of the chamber, which has been crucial in the door event. So we appreciate your work. This is good work. I think it's excellent. I think someone can look at just, thank you. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Vicki from the Way Station, along with the Live at 5 committee for request permission to hold the Oktoberfest event on Saturday, September 21st, 4 to 9 p.m. on part of Main Street, and to allow a DORA to be enacted.
And I'm here in lieu of Vicki Hopper.
Okay.
I'm Gail Patrick. I am one of the co-chairs of the Simply Divine Gala. It's in its 9th year, and it's a benefit for the Way Station. And Vicki is, of course, the executive director of the Way Station. Last year, Sundog and Birdfish were through a great event in their back area before there were any DORAs, called the freaking Columbiana Beer and Wine Mixer. Huge success. And this year they said, why don't we change this, make it an Oktoberfest, and proceeds will go to the Way Station. So we've come to you today, humbly asking for a DORA on September 21st from 4 to 9. some of the events they have, just to give you a little bit. A polka band, out horn blowing contest, stein holding contest, not full, empty steins, who can grape stomping, beer barrel race, and a yodeling competition. And they have several bands on it.
Where the band gonna be played?
I don't know that. But I know that the ranches, No Swine Left Behind, I believe that's where it is. No Swine Left Behind, they have that area there, and that's where the bands are.
Are you asking for, street blockage or just?
Yes. Isn't that required of a door to block the street?
I don't believe it's required for the door.
It's not required, but I don't think we've done one yet where we didn't have street flooring.
There are a lot of things actually set up on the street, bounce houses, things like that. And
Yeah.
a lot of what you're gonna do is on the street.
Yeah.
I figured that you probably wanted it, I just wanted to make sure that that was considered as part of the request.
Yes.
Okay.
And Birdfish and Sundog, we are part of the organizing committee of this, and I have spoken to Artita, and they are on board. I have not spoken to the other two board members.
Okay. Any other questions from?
Chief, any problems that you might see?
Not that I can foresee. The really, the street closure is not a big deal to us, because there's two alternate routes. It becomes problematic only on days when there's heavy truck traffic. Generally speaking, on Saturdays, that doesn't occur. Sir, anything about the football?
Sounds great.
If I could add one thing, so it's not exactly what Gail is presenting tonight, but one of the businesses, my gym is going to participate, and they haven't participated in the past, and they are considering, and I believe they're here, is Lloyd here? Kelly? Oh, Kelly's here, wow.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I get the words on Friday, and there's a note there that says, call Kelly Pavlik. Oh, cool. You get to call Kelly Pavlik today.
Why don't you come on up and share your idea? And this is sharing the same door up.
Yes. Yeah, they're in the same time.
Well, I didn't know some of the events, I really didn't know what I was getting into when I asked about it. I see there's a lot of other events going on, but we were looking, I had talked with, I believe Jeff with Birdfish. He contacted me and brought the idea to me about, putting on the amateur boxing show in the parking lot of my gym, and being under with Birdfish is the same property. You know, I think we would probably see it if we could, but it's not too big of a deal, I don't think, but maybe have the street, certain part blocked off for that due to the fact that that's the only location I have is the parking lot, and the parking lot is not that big, but it's big enough to fit a decent amount of people. And I think also for a lot of the, what do you call it, the parade goers or festival goers, they could walk by and stop in for a little bit and, you know, check out the bike and whatnot. So that's
And the road closure that he's speaking of is on the far east of the property, up along the tracks.
It's like an alley.
It's an alley.
Okay.
Yeah, not an
You were talking about Park Avenue, I was thinking that could be a problem, that it just close through the alley and everything, it's totally okay.
You say you talked to Birdfish and they're.
yeah, they actually brought the idea to me, and it was really short notice for an amateur boxing show, but fortunately I know a lot of people with the USA Boxing Organization, and they're fairly strict on how things are ran too, so I mean the event would be a nice event, it would be organized and, you know, security, I could have some people working on my property and whatnot. I don't think we would need anything, I think it would be a nice event and something different.
Kelly, what time are you gonna start this tournament yourself?
It's from 4 to 9, right?
Right.
I think with it being the Oktoberfest, I don't see it being an issue as far as boxing fans and alcohol is kind of like the big thing. But I don't see 4 to 9 being an issue because I think with everybody going past it, they would be interested in it no matter what time it was. So 4 to 9 actually I think would still be good.
How many events are you talking about?
It'll be just one event. I would probably hold, with the short period of time that the, where the festival goes from, I'd probably put on maybe 8 or 9 fights.
Oh, that's what I was on.
Yeah, and I would try to find as many local kids too, or from the Columbiana County. I know 1 or 2 of them right now that I can put on the card and, get them on.
The 3 round fight?
Yeah, 3 2-minute, so.
Should be fun. Yep, great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Would anyone like to hear, can I get a motion to approve the work?
I make a motion to approve the door as stated. I'll second it.
Any other questions or comments? Do we have a roll call, please?
Becker?
Abstain?
Sauber?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Clark?
Abstain.
Miller?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Mr. Wallace, seeking approval for a 3K race, pumpkin pie, 5K, with the night before Christmas 5K, and cookies and milk. How many, is it 4 different races or 5?
There's 3 races.
3 races, okay.
So, pumpkin pie 5K, we've been doing that for a couple of years now. Starts and finishes at Columbiana High School, and nothing's changing there from what we've done in the past. It's a 8 a.m. race start on a Sunday morning. Proceeds traditionally have gone to our cross country team and funding other events that we put on. And then going to Wednesday, December 11th, was the night before 5K for the Joyous Christmas Light Show. We've been doing that for 6 years, same exact course. And we're limiting that race to 500 people still, just for safety and the size of the facility that's there. Proceeds gone towards the Dixon Giving Tree, Wreath Across America, raffle baskets that are requested by other organizations doing fundraising through the year. Last year we gave some gift cards to families that had lost their homes in fires and family members that had passed away suddenly from car accidents, things like that, just to kind of help support. So, various different things. It's not just, hey, we're raising money for this specific cause, just kind of whatever comes up. And then the final one is actually not until April of next year, but in order to promote it correctly, I needed to start working on it now. It's going to be a cookie and milk 1 mile, and it's going to be taking place right around the Girl Scout cookies are delivering. And yes, the Girl Scout themed race. The purpose of it is my daughter and I as well, we're going on a trip with Girl Scouts internationally to Switzerland and also to Italy. And it's going to cost us about $11,000 to go. So we have to do some fundraising, and I know how to put on races. So that's what we're doing. Although the proceeds from the race is going to cost $25 to enter, and everybody who enters is getting a box of cookies. Well, cookies cost $5 a box. So that's part of that entry fee. But the proceeds from the boxes of cookies themselves that are selling are going to go back to the entire troop. So specific to the race proceeds going towards the trip, cookie boxes going towards the whole troop. So it's not just like something that's going in my pocket or whatever. But that's going to take place at Firestone Park. It's going to be a 1 mile loop. I believe Heartland Christian has used the 1 mile loop several years ago for their Heart Run. I can't remember exactly what it was called. And we're just going to follow that same thing. I've already gotten permission from the park, talked to the police department, so now I'm here.
What are the dates?
October 6th. December 11th, and April 5th, and that's also a Sunday. That's going to be like probably like a 1 o'clock in the afternoon kind of a race, we're going to be reaching out to a lot of other Girl Scouts, hoping that they'll participate in it as well as a learning leadership experience.
The courses now, okay, down Fort, are they, any of those on Terre Verde?
The Christmas race.
Okay.
Yeah. We have, for the past couple of years, put letters at every single home along the Christmas race route, notifying them of when the race was taking place and at what time.
so that they would be aware and know to, you know, if they can, to time their to and fro from their homes around that.
And I can tell you that it's very much appreciated. I would agree.
I did high school volunteers to do it, because they miss a house.
But the other races aren't,
The Cookie and Milk 1 mile will only go out on East Park Avenue, just that little bit right there in front of Josie's to get back into the park, so it's very limited, temporary road closure when they first come out. And since that's gonna be towards the beginning of the race, it won't take too long. And pumpkin pie's out there at the high school, so.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion to approve all three races on the dates, provided.
Second. Any other questions or comments? We have a roll call again.
Sauber,
Yes.
McBain,
Yes.
Liston,
Yes.
Paul,
Abstain.
Miller,
Yes.
Becker,
Yes. Next on the agenda, Amy Cardio and neighbors to discuss the non-delivery of their USPS mail on their streets in the city. Thank you.
I'm here with our neighbors, and we had our mail stopped on, July 5th, and the reason was Denise Sorensky wants, the developer Rick Vernon to put in a cluster box for the driveway. And if there isn't anywhere on Juniper for that to happen, it would have to be down on Hawkins, there's a low area where there's like a ravine area that could be done, but we're all concerned about who would maintain the driveway for those boxes. We already have mailboxes up, and we've been getting mail since September. And, I've been in contact with Mike Granchi, he's the, grievance, guy for the post office, and he, gave me all that backup, all the information about the boxes. And she really is not, shouldn't be doing this, because first of all, they can't change her mode of, mail for at least a year, and it's only been 10 months. And then secondly, she, oh, and then also the homeowners would have to sign off on the change in the delivery, in the mode of delivery. And none of us wants a cluster box.
Well, the homeowners sign off on it.
Would have to sign off on changing our mode of, the way we get our mail. Right now, they just drive up and drop the mail off at our mailboxes.
What if the homeowners don't sign off on it?
She's never given us that option. They hold our mail at the post office. And when we go, we get things like, they don't know where they put the mail because there's stamps. Sometimes we get the mail on Saturday because the direction's not been given to the subs that not to deliver mail to our homes. They already have that mail. You know, it's just, it's all over the place. And, you know, what happens if one of our bills gets lost or something gets lost, and I just don't think it's a good way to, make people happy. I don't know. I work in Cranberry, so the only time I can get my mail is Saturday morning.
Okay. Question. Is it a requirement? Is she, what is her argument?
She said that somebody above her has requested it.
Requested it, but is it required?
She's fighting with Rick Vernon, and we're stuck in the middle of all of it.
Who's Rick Vernon?
He's the developer of Cedar Run.
But because if she forces, if you guys don't sign it, is she going to throw that away?
She's trying to threaten Rick, and she's never given us anything to sign. She's trying to make him do what she wants him to do by putting a community box in for our, just only phase 2 of Juniper Drive. But we already have mailboxes out there.
How many homes are we talking about?
Well, the sign says there could be 30. At this point in time, we're talking about 4 homeowners right now. They're affected by this.
And what is it that you're asking the city
Well, I'm just trying to let people know, and maybe if somebody else has somebody that we can contact, because we just find it to be extremely unfair. Everybody else gets their mail delivered, we don't have to.
I don't understand it, to be honest with you, but I don't know that there's anything that the city can do about it other than.
Well, like I said, I'm just trying, I don't know what to do. I've emailed, Bill Johnson, and I've emailed, Tom Makel, because they tried to do that to them out of Firestone, and they changed that. They do have cluster boxes for the condos out there, but not for the residential homes, and we kinda wanna have our mailboxes.
Yeah, I can
So,
understand that.
Could we at least inquire?
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with, Rick for a few weeks now on it, and,
Okay.
haven't gotten anywhere yet, so.
I kind of lost what to say other than thanks for advising us of what's going on. If there is something that the city can do, working for the ramp,
Okay.
be willing to help. It's just sort of like, sounds like you're out in the middle of something, but you don't really have much control over it.
Well, it is, it's a mess.
I think the course that you took, writing letters or sending emails to your officials,
Mm-hmm.
your federal officials,
Right,
they've got to be the ones with the horsepower.
okay.
And I would stand on them hard.
Don't leave us out of the loop on that. That's a concern that could cluster larger,
Right,
Right.
Find every government official you can find in the area and have everybody send letters to them, send them emails. Load them up with it, let them know that you're really not satisfied.
Well, and I don't think by the paper that Mike gave us, she's not following the rules. She's not doing, it's supposed to be a year, it's only been 10 months, and we're supposed to sign a paper, we didn't have that option. She's supposed to send a letter that she sends us in that packet, certified mail just showed up on the mailbox, so.
Well, not only that, but when you get into the winter months, okay, that's a personal thing where if you're walking down there, wherever that box is at, okay, and that's a danger to our citizens.
Well, you could have other people that, that's a problem you can find, to walk down.
Well, and it is the delivery route is, they're just pulling up to the mailbox, they're not getting out, they're not servicing, they're not walking up to your door, so they're not in harm's way. I'm concerned about the weather, because it's very cold out there, and windy, where they're talking about putting that box at, it's kind of in a wooded area, it's not like where a lot of houses are, I don't know. Concerning, I don't know.
I think the statement I want to make is, that we are very supportive of what you're trying to do as a council, and encourage you to communicate, and encourage Lance to continue to work with you people to deal with this issue and, this matter.
Okay.
If any of the officials come back to you and say, well, this is something you might try, bring it back up.
Okay.
And we'll see if it's something we can do.
Right.
Because we would certainly like to.
Well, I know they did do it at Firestone, they tried to do it at Firestone, but, they got stopped, so I don't know how, I don't know Tom Makel, so I just heard that he was the one that got stopped. So.
Yeah, I did some research on that since I talked to Rick, and I believe that they were cited before 2012. They were cited before 2012.
And this went into effect in 2012, it's in the postal operations manual, I'm reading it right now, it's quite interesting. It doesn't appear that anyone has any choice, and this is how we're going to do things, but the post office and the postmaster still have to follow proper procedure.
Okay.
I'll say that, I
Right,
haven't had a
right.
chance to read through it.
Right.
Reading it as you're speaking,
Yeah.
it seems pretty one-sided on first glance.
Okay.
But even if it is, if somebody leans on them, we'll maybe do that a little bit, especially for people.
Well, I just think you want to promote people coming to Columbiana. I think, getting their mail delivered, that's not, most people get their mail delivered, so. And then for right there, to put the extra box, you know, the cluster box and a driveway.
You do have hardship cases right in the postal operations manual under this section. So, you know, they're supposed to be on humanitarian grounds, et cetera, but it's in there.
Right, well, it couldn't be, from what I understood, which is, nobody wants it on there's no like open land on the river, if the lots are all spoken for, or they're lotted to be sold. So the only place that I'm aware of is there on Hawkins, which is why the town of Columbiana kind of goes down there. Because the other side lots are, those are all for sale too.
Yeah.
What's around that place on Hawkins?
Cimarron.
No, but I mean, the terrain around it.
It's all wooded right now. There's just one house, the Wayne Homes, they built a house, there's a new home there. And then besides that, that's all that wooded area. And then on the other side, I think there's 3 or 4 lots, but they are, they're all well wooded, and I don't think anybody's bought them yet.
I don't know if that's maybe a safety issue. Couldn't go down to one area like that.
Yeah, you just never know, I don't know anymore.
Not anymore, you can.
No, and I don't wanna have to take my mailbox down, and, you know, it's just a convenience for us. I guess working out of town and, you know, everything, it's just convenient. And we've had it, I guess. If I never had it, I wouldn't know any better.
Anything we can do.
Okay.
Thanks for making us aware of that.
Moving on, manager's report. Sure, yeah.
Anything you? Oh, go ahead. If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. I thought they were finished talking.
My name's Paul Rance with the Chamber of Commerce, and we're here this evening to have permission to have a Christmas parade this year on November 22nd with light up at 6 o'clock, lighting up at the library, going down Main Street, and then going Union Street.
I heard the post office was going to cancel Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get the long cold consent.
And what's the date was?
November 22nd.
So this is basically the same route you've been using for.
Because I've already spoken to Chief Glass and seen if there's anything that he wants changed, that he can answer that. Please let me get him already.
I'd just like to say that Paul does a fantastic job organizing this event. He's done a great job. It's a great parade. And I move that we approve that date, November 22nd.
Any other comments?
Not the only thing Paul does pretty well too. Thanks, Paul.
Paul, did I also miss the theme of this year?
Pardon me?
Do you know what the theme is?
No, we never meet till after we get approval.
Deanne?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Noah?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Thank you.
What was the time, Paul?
It's 6 o'clock, November 22nd. That's the light up will be 6 o'clock.
Right up to 6.
Yes. And the parade will follow shortly after that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Manager's report.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You have one more?
Is it open for a little another comment?
Usually we have other comments during the day.
Okay, we can do that.
If you had comments on anything that we were already talking about, that'd be fine. But-
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So in regards to the door, not to belabor that, but Rob Schwartz, President of the Chamber of Commerce, I just thought maybe since we appreciate you guys entertaining the whole idea of putting together a further protocol, but since we're kind of in the swing of things here and there's another door already pulled, maybe as a Band-Aid, what's the protocol for notifying? Can we still do that? And it's not a notifying of local businesses so they can come in and disagree or agree, but it's more so, like, from my standpoint, I'm owning the coffee shop for staffing purposes, that kind of thing. Can we, for this event that's coming up, can we send something out to everybody that's on the street?
So I saw your wife 3 times today on South Main, and we were distributing from Friend Street to PNC and the Snyder's, or Smith's, plaza. So we were notifying them of the road closures, but we can head up the streets, tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, if we can help from the chamber's perspective, we just like to try to make everybody happy.
Yeah, everybody needs to know what's going on,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
going on, so
Okay.
it's not a surprise.
Thank you.
Thanks for your work. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Ken.
Can I say something about that? It's quick and simple and simple. In regards to the Dora, my name is Amanda, I own the Peter Peddler Restaurant. Just to kind of heads up when you guys are making these decisions, I think everything that April said, when I caught most of it, is a fantastic idea. When businesses are involved, like a small retail one like mine, that street closure makes a huge difference to my business. Last month when we closed the street from 12 to 8, I actually lost half of my business that day because the people that are participating in the Dora aren't always interested in shopping, which I understand, they're not always going to coincide, and everybody gets that. It works for all the other businesses as well. I just ask that you kind of look into something like that when you're making these decisions. For like a business like mine, I have a lot of people that come in from out of town, they're not familiar with where to park and where to go, and they don't understand why the street's closed, so they just leave. So that was a big issue for us this last month. And then just something else to kind of bring to your attention, where the Dora is involved, all the events are great, they're all starting at 4 o'clock in the month of September. My business is open until 4 o'clock, which means the street will start shutting down, depending on their time of starting to pull the parking, anywhere from 3 o'clock on. So when it comes to the smaller retail businesses, it does have a direct effect on us. I do not serve alcohol. I cannot allow alcohol in my store, unfortunately. There are other issues involved with people's safety and the fact that I don't sell alcohol, so really I don't need to have it in the building. So that definitely takes a toll on the people coming in, walking around. Sometimes it gives off a bad vibe on our part, but it's for a safety issue for a business and for them. As a small business, it's the proper move to make, I believe, in our decision. But, like I said, for the month of September, we have the street fair on the 6th. We have, the arts festival on the following weekend, so they will be walking around openly in the street. The next weekend will be the Oktoberfest, and the last weekend will be the diesel trucks. So every single Saturday in the month of September, we will be looking at a shortened business day due to the closures on the street. Does it affect me 100% of the time? Not necessarily. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I just thought that it might be nice for you guys to hear another perspective on it. Since I'm not actively serving the alcohol, there are other sides that play into it when it deals with us up there. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So that was all. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Maybe there should be some time given, by council's outlook to the amount of doors that you would have in any one given moment.
I think when we first started discussing this, there was a lot of talk up here that, oh, we're only gonna have these like once a month or a couple times a year, and obviously we could see September is completely booked with available weekends. So I've been somebody that has been up here voicing the sense of the community. This is not like the first time I've heard this side of the story, and really need to take it seriously, because a business like Amanda's, if it can't stay open because of the doors, that's another empty building on Main Street. So yes, we might be bringing in people for one event, but we're also throwing them away from that potential same event.
Bear in mind that there's no door during the street fair.
Correct. I was just pointing out that they were all, sorry.
There's also no road closures for the September 14th, arts tour, as far as I know.
And one of the things that we may want to figure out how to do is, I know there's a lot of communities that have limited parking on Main. We have limited parking on Main. Having signs up directing people where they could park instead might be very useful. We ought to just give some thought to that and see what we can do with that. Okay, any other comments?
So I guess, why do the events start so early? Like, do they start at 4? Why not later?
Why should they?
They really don't get it until 5.
they really don't really seem to start to build a crowd until 5 o'clock. To be completely sincere, if someone is there.
And honestly, our block parties were
Starts at
5 to
5.
8, and our crowd really didn't even come till 6 or 6:30. So we have entertained the idea next year of changing that time from 5 to 8 to 6 to 9.
And it might be something that changes in the fall, the weather's different, and, you know, that's so understandable. There are just certain things to kind of keep in mind. You know what I mean? It's a different aspect looking out and in. And plus, you are closing the street to all the citizens that drive it all for Saturday, you know what I mean? So, not that they don't know how to get around it, but I would hope.
I guess the part that I can't understand is if you have 1,000 people walking up and down the street, and you have a business on the street, and most of the businesses I talk to appreciate the fact that we have people on our streets finding out about our businesses. And I know, I talk to several business people that it increases their businesses tremendously. And, we just got a new business in town because we have events. I'm having a real hard time, besides you,
Sure.
I mean, what if the businesses don't like?
I've actually spoken with multiple other shop owners, which unfortunately are not here today, and they have also not had any business. I know of one shop owner that is not directly in with us, has stayed open for every single event, and for 2 times she's pulled zeros. Not one person has bothered to patron her. I'm not arguing. I say people come in and walk around. I have wonderful air conditioning. Who wouldn't want to come in and hang out with me? But that doesn't necessarily mean that people are drawn into those events. The same thing with Firestone Farms. And I would have to think that if you broach the shop owners at Firestone Farms, they have increased foot traffic, sure, but they're not allowed to have the alcohol in their stores. And you really have to wonder how much their money is going up. There's a difference between what's really happening and what you're saying because you want to be on board. I don't have a problem with the DORA. That's fine. You guys can do whatever you choose to. From a business owner standpoint, a small retail location that doesn't allow liquor doesn't really up my numbers that much. It ends up being a 12-hour day for me and maybe $100. And then when I'm closed, I get a lot of backlash if I'm closed because I'm not available for the DORA. Well, why weren't you there? We tried to come in, you weren't there. So, you know, I try openly, and I do everything I can to participate in all the events. Same with the street fair. I love the street fair. I'm born and raised in Columbiana. I graduated from here. I go to the street fair religiously on a regular basis. One of the great parts of buying the business, I had parking for street fair. But we are closed, except for Saturday, because the street is closed. My customers just don't want to mess around with it. It's just a different type of business, that's all. And it's not to say that it doesn't do wonders for Birdfish and Sundog and ours. I'm not negating that. We're all there together, and those are great nights for them. But from my aspect, if I'm closing a little bit earlier because the street's closing, sometimes it's not always the best. So I understand that it's great for different locations, especially if you're serving alcohol. It is a wonderful location. I did speak with Patty Roller, and she did tell me, now obviously this is a conversation I have with her, you're welcome to talk to her on a regular basis, but she actually brought product out of the street. She wasn't real overwhelmed with the people that go to these events. They're going to listen to the music, they're going to drink, and they're going to do the fun activities that are planned. We're always there. You can come see me on a Saturday. You don't have to come on a Friday night. You don't have to come on a Tuesday night. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're a staple. They're there for the entertainment that's provided on that day. And sometimes that's hard to take into effect. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we have vendors on the street, well, they're shopping the vendors that are on the street. We had some great kid vendors this year, and it was awesome to see them out there, and they were doing their thing. But the kid vendors were only there for one day. I'm there 6 days a week. So it is a different flow in traffic, and I'll happily talk with anybody that has any questions or wants any additional information. But like I said, Saturdays tend to be the busiest day in the retail business, and so at 3 o'clock, I'm pretty much done, unless I decide to stay for the event. And, you know, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe, you know what I mean? There's no saying that I won't have a good day, or I won't, or I will. But so far, it has been a cycle that we've gone. That's all. So,
have you had anybody come back in your store and say, we were here during a DORA, or No, just out of curiosity, that's all.
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe enough to count on 2 hands. So it's never really been anything
It's really
that's
not,
been a huge
the exposure
benefit for
really
the
hasn't.
retail.
Okay.
And it's, like I said, it's not to say that it isn't an opportunity for them to come in and look around. We're going on our 45th year this year, in the beginning of the year. So, I mean, we've been here forever, and you're always gonna get the people that say, I didn't know you were here. So, you know, we're definitely a vineyard, we definitely have a footprint here. We're on the 3rd generation, and, you know, I'm not complaining about any of that. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that it's not always beneficial for everybody. That's all. And the 12 to 9 one, there was actually an event that we were not hosting, obviously, because they were hosting that. But in my retail genre that was going on, that I normally get a ton of people from, and that's why it was such a big hit for us that day. So who's to say that normally would have been, there was other things going on in other areas. And nowadays, people kind of jump from city to city, which is kind of nice, because, you know, there might be something going on over here that brings them back into Columbiana to see us.
What's your address?
On Columbiana, 25 South Main. I'm right there.
And
So I'm in the thick of it.
during the Chalk Fest this
Correct.
weekend, we are not closing that part of Main Street, particularly because she approached me to, you know, to say that it's Shaker in the Woods, we don't want that road closed. So we moved that next event down towards, Front Street, down towards PNC Bank, and we're trying to showcase the Schmitz Plaza.
Which we greatly appreciate, because once again, Shaker Woods, you have people coming from all over the place, and they don't always know where to go. I think the signs are a fantastic idea. I agree with those wholeheartedly. But like I said, it's just one of those things you run into. I just wanted to step up and make sure that you knew that it's something we face. It's just part of it. So,
I think that's something that we did understand.
so,
We appreciate it.
yeah, like I said, it was more just to let you know, we've done a couple of these, and this is what I've seen. So, okay?
Any other comments? If not, report?
Yeah. All right, so we had turned in 3 stormwater pre-apps, for the grants for those projects, and we, did not make the first cut, but they did invite us to apply for the next round, so we're gonna do that. The next, door event is this weekend, and that is, the Chalk Fest. It is, from 3 to 8, and, we, like I said, we passed out the road closures, for that, but, we have gotten, 6 professional artists coming to town, and we're really looking forward. Featured artist is Eric Greenwald, out of Pittsburgh, PA. And it's definitely family oriented, and we're gonna have some fun on South Main. They're actually going to start around our pizza, putting the chalk art, and then go all the way south to PNC. So hope to see you out there. Let's see, the paving is pretty much finished as far as the paving. We need to do some paint and signage, and those will be going on this week. And then we have some fixes that need to be taken care of over the next month too. ODOT contacted us this last week to see if we're interested in a free bridge inspection program. So that is on your agenda. They did ask that we pass it as an emergency, so I have that legislation to opt into that program. It's a wonderful program, and we would love to be a part of it. Out at Mirror Lake, we noticed that the algae was, we couldn't keep up with it for a few weeks there. So we hired a licensed company to come in, and they put water shading and algicide, and the pond looks really good in the last few weeks. Out at the South Fire Station, the new fire station, we did perform a roll test on the pavement, so we can, if it ever dries up enough, we did that this week, and we're going to make some adjustments out there and get that paving done in the next month and a half or so. We have been working on, we've done this several times, but we have been working on several recurring zoning violations in the city, repeat offenders, and there is a good chance we'll be raising one of those homes the next few weeks, 60 days or month, see how that goes. We've had some significant leads on business attraction projects, and when that information becomes available, I'll get a hold of you. Just to give you a quick update, I know last fall we talked about the Progress Committee and what we've been doing with RCAP, that's that grant. Some of the ideas that have come out of that, the XM radio, which it's been out of service for about 3 weeks. They tell us it's going to be up and running, but I guess it's system-wide. The Chalk Fest is coming up. Pop-up shop is going well. We've got antique, nice antique store down on the corner of Friend and South Main. And they actually came to Planning Commission, and that was, part of that RCAP program, the idea, and we're excited about that. He actually came in for a 1-year lease, a long-term lease, and he's already visited Planning Commission. The one event you may have heard about is a Shark Tank type event that we're going to try to put together. We're going to give a panel of judges and consider some business ideas. On South Main, we have some empty storefronts. The goal would be to give the top presenter a free space on Main Street for a year. We're trying to figure out how to fund that, but we think we have a way to do that. We just get some more people interested in downtown. The idea of the pop-up is actually working really well. To get people, interested in opening storefronts. Patty Roller has been wonderful to work with, and she's put countless hours in towards that, directing these people that are interested in pop-ups, and it's been a really good program. We are researching new string lighting on the South Main or Main Street, and that would be instead of the Christmas lights that we have, these lights would be programmable, and we're looking into those, and I'll be in touch with you here in the next month or so. We're also working, that same committee, we're working with to teach students about entrepreneurship, potentially work with YBI extension, or have Columbiana as a YBI extension at some point, but we're trying to work with YBI right now to gain some more knowledge and see what we can do to get our kids to want to stay here after high school. And we've actually reached out to local schools to get them involved, and we have a meeting that they're coming to. The superintendents are coming. And the idea is when the kids get off of school, they're going to be able to come down and maybe work with their hands, whether it's a 3D printer, a laser etcher, something to, I've been talking about a little bit, for the last, few months, but, maybe a wood shop, something to get the kids, really, we want them to fix their roof here, we want them to start a business here, and we want to be business friendly. Street department, we've been filling potholes, we did paint the school signs and started with a crosswalk. We've been monitoring the paving project, we filled 15 40-yard dumpsters for the town cleanup, and those are 5 to 6 tons each, so that's a lot of things that we cleaned up out of the city, which is a nice service that we're offering. Picked up the brush the first week of August also. Water hydrants, we exercised 32 of those. We fixed 6 line repairs, service line repairs, 2 water main breaks. The wastewater department, we cleaned several storm lines and sewer lines. Park and cemetery, they'll be on the pool will be on reduced hours starting this week. And just to follow up on those hydrants, the gentleman came at the last meeting and asked about the hydrants. We hope to get those in. Those are field hydrants for watering out the cemetery. We hope to at least start installing those next week. Electric department, they installed a pole out at the new shop, and it's a very tall pole. and it'll, make the police chief happy. We're gonna actually, have increased radio, capability, especially out at 7 and 14. We'll be able to, repeat that, and it'll come back to, the police station, so we're excited about that. I do have one kind of a neat thing that was not in your packet. We had that Columbiana conservation effort. We did that, July 19th. Do you remember that hot day? Actually, Channel 21 came down, and we have the result of that, already. So it was really hot that week. But July 18th, just to tell you what our load was that day, our load was 16 megawatts of First Energy's 11,900 megawatts. So the very next day, what we tried to do is reduce our footprint on the system. And by doing that, we're going to reduce our transmission costs next year. So the temperatures went up. The First Energy usage, or their same load, the next day it went up to 12,571 megawatts. So it went up approximately, 10%? And ours went down from 16.05 to 15.69. So it really worked out. We really appreciate the residents and businesses in doing that. We're not asking that they turn off their air conditioning. Just up a couple degrees will be fine, and especially in between that 2 to 6 hour. Actually, that peak was established at 3 p.m. on the 19th, and we had our generator on. We were basically took the water plant off the load, so we're really excited about that. They actually did some calculations for us what it might have reduced for next year projection. So by us having a less impact, if that peak load, if that is a coincident peak, the highest peak of the year, that'll reduce Columbiana residents and business power costs will be approximately $100,000 lower than what it would have been if we would have been online at that same time. So it was well worth and I thank the chief for getting the message out there, Facebook, and actually the news. So, and actually, if you remember the story that night, if you saw it on the news, First Energy was actually doing the same thing. They actually combined it with our story. And I think as a region, as a nation, we're going to be doing that more and more. And again, it doesn't take much. Close your curtains, raise the your thermostat a couple degrees until after that 6 o'clock hour. So we're pretty excited about that.
Basically, if I'm right about this, basically what happens is, energy companies look at the year, they take your peak load, and you have to be capable the next year of generating that much constantly, or a constant level. And that forces them to generate more power, which costs more money. So if you keep that peak load down, if the peak load over the years is quite as high, they're not required to generate, have the generation capability at that level, and everybody saves money.
Everyone should have received copies of the bill list. Are there any questions or comments on the bill list? Moving on, there's no old business. Under the new business, we have 3 items. Due to the length of the ordinances, in fact, everybody has copies of the ordinances. I'd entertain a motion to read them by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Deanne?
Yes.
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 Yes. The first ordinance is emergency ordinance, to have a motion to read that emergency.
So moved. Second?
Deanne?
Vote?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Stover?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes. Ordinance number 19-03015, an emergency ordinance enacted by the city of Columbiana, herein referred to as the local public agency, LPA, to participate in the bridge inspection program services provided through the Ohio Department of Transportation, PDI 109334.
So moved. Second.
I think Lance explained it a little bit. Are there any further questions on this ordinance? If not, roll call please.
Yes.
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 McBain?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Vote?
Yes.
Resolution number 19R545, first reading. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Becker?
Yes.
Stover?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
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 Resolution number 19R548, first reading. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor.
Just a note there, it's 546.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it's 546. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Stover?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Gibson?
Yes.
Vote?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Are there any other comments from the public that anyone would like to make tonight?
My name is Columbiana. I live at 405 Fairfield. I live right next to the house 65 Duquesne. Has been causing a lot of trouble lately, and I'm going to be aware. Quite the rat problem. Since the people moved out, we are killing them daily. We are finding them dead in our yard. The smell is overwhelming coming out of the house. The windows are open right now because they put fans blowing out into the air. I can't open the window. I can't be outside. It is quite disgusting to go outside your car and smell it. And I don't know if anyone's been there, but I think you need to come. Because there's several of us here. And it makes me upset, sorry, I'm trying to... But that's how bad it is. It's been going on since April. I've spoken August several times. I guess me taking good photos was what it took to get the 2-month notice when we had to clean the house up because these people have finally moved out. Storing trash in your basement for a year is a huge problem. I complained several times about this. I know Joanne, who's a few neighbors here as well, was really upset about this. The owner of the home doesn't live around here, he doesn't care. I know we've given him a notice. I'm here as a face, and we're all here as a face, because we live right next to it. I have several photos of rats if you would like to take a look at them. I wanted to come here and beg you to get rid of this house. Rats, the return is contaminated, their species is contaminated, they're running through the neighborhood now, they're moving, living under other people's houses, they're trying to dig their way in. And we're begging you to do something. He said he's put rat traps. He has not. We are providing rat traps. We are providing the bait for these rat traps. We are paying for this. And we do nothing. I don't care what he says. I see it. I live right there. He's doing nothing. And I'm begging you to do something about this house. I want you to come and smell what we're selling every day. We can't open our windows. It's disgusting. So I'm begging you to do something. 2 months is not going to he's not going to do anything in 2 months. And I want something to be done. Because we love this city. It's great. It's a beautiful city. This is not going to help us. So I'm here to face that you can see us. You guys, will you stand up that live here with our house, with our neighborhood? We own houses here. We're not happy. This has been going on for way too long. And these people have finally moved out. Thankfully, hopefully they didn't move anywhere in Columbiana, because their neighbors are going to have the same problem with these people.
That's how you pictures.
Yeah, this is what we've, I've given all this to run photos. But these are the rat holes behind our house. They're digging down into the ground inside our house and underneath that house. This is this one side my house. This is the wonderful photo we put on Facebook to rent the house for $750. That is not what the house looks like. I can give you hundreds of photos.
Is this have anything to do with what you mentioned, zoning violations?
Absolutely. We have our notice that's out, and, you know, as a city, planning commission, zoning, and council, you know, since 2016, we've made an effort to get rid of these problems, and we've successfully knocked down 15 houses so far.
I've seen.
So we do take it seriously. I've met with legal counsel on this, and we, you know, the council is notified of, you know, they're aware that we, you know, this isn't the only one, by the way, and you know, we are serious. So
we're not ignoring this, just so everyone knows. We sent some notices out, and we're now watching to see what happens.
You guys been there?
I'd like to thank you for bringing this to council's attention. I'm the guy who walks the huskies past your house almost every day.
Yeah, you recognize your face.
And I've
Have
been,
you smelled it?
yeah, well, I have a really bad sense of smell.
No.
But,
I don't.
my wife would
smell it.
find it real quick. The biggest issue here is that this council doesn't have legal authority to condemn the house and do anything without going through court proceedings and all that sort of stuff. And I know that Lance is working to get this rectified as quickly as possible and do what the city can do to solve the problem. We certainly need your help, your neighbor's help, and information to be able to take this report as necessary and get justification from the judge to go ahead and proceed to demolish the house and close them down if it gets to that point. Ideally, it'd be wonderful if we could work with the owner to clean the place up and get rid of the rats, and if that isn't going to happen, the place will come down. I used to deliver newspapers in that neighborhood. I remember that house, and that house was a very nice house. And walking by it the other day and looking at it and walking around it, I was shocked at how it's deteriorated.
Been a year from these people that lived there. They were awful. Absolutely awful. I have more photos than you can ever imagine of what they've done over there.
So I think Lance will be moving forward as rapidly as you know, we can, following the legal procedures that we're bound by, and hopefully we can find ways to help you clear the rats out quicker than what we do.
They're spreading, there's more and more houses in our neighborhood that have them.
Can we move some of the cats from some of the neighborhoods?
We're poisoning them as fast as we can, but they're going through so much poison at this point, that's how many rats there are.
I talked with the neighbor that lives on the other side of the house.
Right, that's my son-in-law.
Yeah, and he said that he's been putting out rat poison every night or every day, and it's always gone the next morning.
He works for an exterminator, and he's
Right.
usually there, paid. Why are we paying for it?
Yeah, we wanna know why we're paying for it.
You know, why are we giving him, if we give him 60 days to get rid of the rats, you know how many rats there would be by now if the neighbors hadn't done anything?
I know, yeah,
That's
they
ridiculous.
multiply quickly.
That's very, very
Yeah.
quickly. We're killing a lot of babies, but there's still a lot of big rats. I mean, body-like big rats still running around.
Yeah. And the foundation of the house I live in belongs to these people. Joanne, by the way, I live on Fairfield Avenue, but our backyard's such. And, the foundation, you see where they're burrowing in around the house and the garage and
it's
every day I'm out there and it's worse. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's hurting our house.
I live in a house just this side of hers, down the block, and there's a rat laying on my front sidewalk.
They're spreading, that's several houses down the street.
Yeah, I know.
Right, so, you know, what's our recourse for us having to now deal with this? And keep them out of our house?
I don't have an answer for it, I don't.
Okay, the thing we've got to look at too, okay, one, we definitely have to move quickly on this.
Absolutely.
Okay, but the issue is, we've got a lot of school children that walk down those sidewalks on their way to, you know, the school, all right? And rats are tenacious, mice are tenacious, okay? One child gets bit, we know that mice and rats carry up through, and I don't wanna say the word, because I don't wanna put that the mushroom out there, but we really gotta go after this situation. It's just not, you know, I can't say enough where I'm at, you know, what you brought up, because I've been working on this a little bit from the back side.
Lance, are there any, county or, state agencies that can help deal with the burning problem?
I could take a look into that.
Because that's something that we could potentially start working on that doesn't have anything to do with the demolition of the actual house.
Yeah. And I think that the important part here is that, you know, is nobody's gonna move in there anytime soon. You know, I mean, you're not gonna see U-Hauls if you do call us. You know?
Oh, I would be on the phone immediately, I'm sure Joanne would be too.
You know, we've already, you know, we know that, so.
We just want to put a face to it and plead with you to do something serious before the little baby starts making more babies and more babies. We're fighting them every day, it's a daily process, and it's not.
Same goes, where you see one, you have 20.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we saw 6 very large ones in April, and so think of 6 very large ones and how many babies they can have every, 21 days they can get pregnant again and have 14 more babies and 14 more babies. That's how many rats I think we're killing now with all that baby that.
Because when that family did live there was so much garbage around, and it was all, the bags were open, they never had it in the garbage can. It was just loose garbage.
So we just need to, thank you.
In point of order, we did knock the house down across the street in Dales too, right? Where are you at, Dale?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, so, you know, I think it was one of the first ones we did knock down in 2016, so.
Yeah, my wife owns a house, a rental house that, Joanne's in, and we went and checked it out today. I could see all the new burrows underneath there, and the stench coming out of the house. It's a health issue. So the health department might be someone.
They didn't help so far.
Oh, they did, you called them?
Good contact.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
What did they tell you?
It was pretty bad.
I contacted them in April. They sent me a letter with the inspection that they did that there's no rat evidence. And in April, there was burrowing activity and there was evidence of rats. So how they think that there's no, I have video of rats in the yard for April, and they told me there was no rat evidence and they're not doing anything. And the health department.
Columbiana County Health Department.
Yeah.
And their children said there were rats too.
Yeah, they videos, yeah, the kids that lived there went to school with my daughter, and so there were rats in the house.
So you have a letter from the health department saying there's no rats.
From the inspection that there were no rats in the house.
Good.
Okay, but
They go in the basement?
I think we've heard your message. I think we're gonna look into the things that we can do as quickly as possible, and I hope we get resolution on this. Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
your
it. Anyone else like to address council on any issues? If not, we'll move on to council comments.
I'd like to thank everybody here. I've been here 40 years. This is one of the most interactive meetings we've ever had. There was no screaming and hollering, but there was a lot of good information to actually hear it. And some think we can do, some things we can't, but we will, I promise you, we will do everything we possibly can to try to solve the situation. But thank you for bringing it here. If we don't know it, there's nothing we can do about it. Even if we don't think there is, there's nothing we can look into it. But we do really appreciate it.
Dick, you had brought up some time ago, about our food truck vendors. And, you know, I keep, I just like you walk, I drive. But there's been a lot that I've seen with new names on them. And I was just wondering, how we're making out, with our licensure, whether they're.
I've been out of town for a while. When I was back in town a month or so ago, I prepared a list of names of people that have been participating in the food trucks, different places in town, and I provided that list to Augie. At that point, he had only had 4 vendors who had signed up for licenses this year, and I had a list of 15 or 20 trucks that have been here over the course of the last 8 months or so. And so I know that he then talked with Birdfish and the owners there offered to advise all the food truck vendors that it needs for them to get licenses. I don't know what's happened since, because I haven't had a chance to talk about it. But I think we got started to get something moving, and hopefully we'll get a better report on things in the near future.
This is something that we need to stay on top of. It's very easy to send this stuff through the cracks. The other thing that I'm hearing about in town, is that, you know, compliments and kudos to our Chamber of Commerce. Pass that on to the girls, just being so active. That there are a lot of communities, and Rick and I talked about this, you know, you guys are working at it. That's a pleasure to see, okay? And I think it's very important that people tell you guys that they do hear it from other places. So, thank you.
We feel the same way about council. In our city, manager talked about being proactive with businesses. Not too many towns have that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how it cannot go unmentioned about the convoy that came to town out at Firestone Farm at the time 1919 to 2019 when Dwight Eisenhower brought, you know, the convoy into Columbiana. And if anybody that went out there, it was so fantastic to see the vehicles and see what was done. And special kudos again to Tom Maple, who basically, you know, put that event on himself, from all I can tell. And the travelers that came in were so appreciative of being able to stop in Columbiana and see those, you know, see what they were doing. So I do want to send that out. And it kind of carries over to Beatlemania, who, you know, was like, I don't know how many thousands of people were in town for Beatlemania, and I think they did. Can somebody remind me who they raised money for that night?
The park? R&B in the park?
It was for R&B in the park, and they raised money out there, and it's just a tremendous event, a great showcase, and
we are so blessed. As you say, we have so many good people working together to do a lot of good things, and I think that's tremendous. And, I want to recognize, everybody that's been active with those activities.
Any other comments? We adjourn.